Hello students, in this video I will tell you about Mendeleev's periodic table. In the previous video, we have studied about the earlier attempts at classification by the Brenner, who gave his traits and Newland's law of octaves. Now, after this, Lothar Meyer and Mendeleev were working simultaneously on the classification, and they did come to a similar conclusion. They said that if we arrange the elements according to their increasing atomic masses, they found a periodicity in their properties. But for Lothar Meyer, his work did not get much attention. However, rather his law was little kind of recognized only after Mendeleev's law was published. But when Mendeleev gave his periodic table, Meyer's work became slightly lame. So we can say that Mendeleev had gave a step ahead of Meyer to classify the elements. Now Mendeleev said that if we arrange the elements according to their increasing atomic masses, we however do find a periodicity, that is, we find that after certain intervals, the properties of the elements are repetition of the properties of the first one. But unlike Newland's law, who said that the properties are repeated after every element has the properties of the first element, he said, the periods are not fixed, so Newland gave the first law, which was known as, so Mendeleev gave his first law, which was known as Mendeleev's periodic law, which states that the properties of the elements are a periodic function of their atomic masses. Now this means that if we arrange the elements according to their increasing atomic masses, the periodicity is related to the increase in masses. So in the year 1869, Mendeleev gave his periodic table, and this is known as Mendeleev's periodic table. However, today we do not follow Mendeleev's periodic table. We follow the Morton periodic table, also known as the long-form periodic table. But Mendeleev's table was a great step towards classification of elements. So now, let us see what it was. What was it? What was the classification given by Mendeleev? Now, if we have to choose just one genius in all of chemistry, then it would be Mendeleev, because what he did was a huge leap into our knowledge of chemistry. Although it had few limitations, but whatever studies we have, he gave us the way into classification of elements. So now, let's study his table. In his table, he arranged the elements into 8 vertical rows: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 vertical rows, and 12 vertical columns: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 horizontal columns. Now, in this table, he arranged the elements according to their increasing atomic masses, and in every row, it had 2 elements each, two elements in every row. Hydrogen had the least mass here. Hydrogen had the least mass, atomic mass here. For hydrogen is the least mass. Next was helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, and then carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and then we have here neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, and so on. Now he arranged all these elements according to their increasing atomic masses. But while he was arranging these elements according to their increasing atomic masses, now he kept in mind that as to keep the similar elements together in a group with similar properties, when in the next horizontal column, that is, he thought that the hydrogen was similar to helium. Now hydrogen was similar to helium. Sodium, we have here sodium was similar to lithium. Now sodium was found to be similar to lithium, and then magnesium with beryllium, aluminium with boron, silicon with carbon, phosphorus, nitrogen, and so on. So he took some of their chemical properties, like their formulae of their oxides and chlorides, and then he found out that if they have similar properties, physical and chemical properties, then he would put the element which is similar in its properties below the one which is similar to, and then he realized the periodicity that occurred, and therefore he gave his periodic law. However, since he was very intelligent, he realized that there was a limitation, and if one element had properties which do not quite match up, like for example, let us see here, where is delinium and iodine. Now in the case for delirium and iodine, we see here that the atomic mass of delirium is 127.6 and iodine is 126.9. Here we see that iodine is arranged in its atomic mass lesser than that of delirium. If we arrange the elements according to their increasing atomic masses, as stated in Mendeleev's periodic law, it would be iodine would come here first and then delirium would come here first. Although the mass of iodine is less than that of delirium, the properties of iodine resemble those of the properties of bromine, manganese, chlorine, and fluorine, and therefore he placed this element iodine in this group, in the group number 7. In group number 7, in the sixth group. This was indeed a genius way of arranging the elements, as we can say that since he gave more importance to the properties of the elements instead of their and ignoring their increasing atomic masses, and placing the next elements that was similar in properties below it. This showed him that since he ignored the increasing atomic masses and focused more on the properties, he thought that there might be an error in the measurement of masses. Then there was not another thing that really made us feel that Mendeleev was really a genius, and this was that as he arranged these elements, he left many blank spaces. Here we see here many blank spaces. There are blank spaces all over his periodic table. Now why did he leave these blank spaces? Now let us study why. For example, after nickel, we have nickel. Nickel is here. After nickel, he found out that here is copper. Copper should have come here after argon. Copper should come here after neon. After neon, below neon, since they are. But copper does not resemble the properties of neon, but it resembles the properties of potassium and sodium. So he said that he concluded that copper is a metal and had properties which were different from the noble gases. Helium, neon, and argon, and krypton, xenon are the noble gases. So he shifted, copper should have been here, but he shifted copper from here to here and placed it in group 1. Similarly, he left spaces after calcium. After calcium here, even he left spaces here. There are many spaces found in Mendeleev's periodic table. In his classification, he laid more stress on the similarity in the properties of the elements rather than their increasing atomic masses. The order of the increasing atomic masses was not very rigidly followed. Thus, when the elements did not seem to fit into their expected position, as we have discussed now for copper, he left gaps in the periodic table and even predicted the properties of such elements. And when these elements were discovered later, the properties were found to be nearly the same as those predicted by Mendeleev. Thus, we can see that Mendeleev's classification was considered superior to the others proposed earlier because of these following reasons. There was a systematic study of elements. Mendeleev's classification condensed the study of about 90 elements. However, only about 65 were known at the time, but he left a provision for so many more and to the study of 8 groups of elements. And he also gave the prediction of new elements and their properties, and also correction of certain atomic masses. However, there were anomalies and defects in Mendeleev's periodic table. For example, the position of hydrogen in his table. Since hydrogen forms both positive ion like the alkali metals, sodium, potassium, lithium, and also negative ions like the halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, the halogens. It resembles both, therefore it cannot be placed either in the group. It cannot be placed here or here. Therefore it can be placed in either of the groups. Therefore the position of hydrogen was not made clear. And also the position of isotopes, the position of lanthanides and actinides were also not discussed in detail by Mendeleev. Therefore, we can conclude that Mendeleev was a genius in classifying the elements as a periodic function of their atomic masses, and thus giving us a definition and a discussion on the periodicity of elements. Therefore, Mendeleev was a versatile genius. He invented an accurate barometer. His most imaginative and brilliant contribution towards chemistry was the periodic arrangement of the elements in the form of a table.